You're listening to the Sunday Sims Podcast. And we're back for another week of the Sunday Sims. My name's Ryan Clifford. It's time for episode number 4. This week we've got 5 tournaments between the ATP and WTA, 3 ATP tournaments, 2 on clay, our first hard court of the U.S. Open swing in Atlanta, and we've got 2 clay 250s on the WTA side in Prague and Iasi in Romania. First one we'll look at this week is ATP Umag, which is a 250 clay tournament. Alexei Popyrin won this one last year. This is in Croatia. We've got ATP in Atlanta, hard court, 250 level. Taylor Fritz was the winner last year, though he is not in the draw this year as he'll be heading to the Olympics instead. And we've got Kitzbuhel, another clay 250 in Austria. Sebastian Baez was the 2023 winner here. On the WTA side, we've got Prague, another 250 on clay. Now Hibino was the 2023 winner there in the Czech Republic. Hibino was a qualifier that made it all the way through to the championship there. And WTA Iasi in Romania, which I believe was actually a challenger level tournament last year. This year's a 250 level on clay. Anna Bogdan was the 2023 winner there. Those are the 5 tournaments we'll look at this week. Wanted to tell you all about the tennistips.com. This is where you can find all of my tennis betting, player prop, and DFS advice in one spot. The Dub Club platform we're on makes it easy to get notified every time I post new tips. I leverage all the same data and statistical modeling used for the Sunday Sims into making informed tennis bets and player prop picks. With the VIP All Access package, you'll get weekly outrights and futures bets, my daily moneyline best bets, player prop cards for sites like Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and a daily DFS Core 4 for those of you that play on DraftKings. Subscribe now at thetennistips.com. Use promo code SundaySims for 20% off the VIP All Access package. We do have a 1-week free trial for those of you that want to try out that VIP All Access package. So let's have some fun, win some money, and we can help support the Sunday Sims podcast at thetennistips.com. And thanks to those of you that have been tuning in. This is the 4th episode. Still a very brand new podcast, so I'm taking feedback. Anything you guys think could help this podcast, please let me know in the comments. Definitely like, subscribe, share as much as you can, as you know, we're trying to build this audience, and any help that you can offer would be greatly appreciated. You could follow us on Twitter at The Sunday Sims. We're on Instagram at The Sunday Sims. And of course, if you're not following along on YouTube, I believe that this podcast is best optimized for video. You could follow along visually with all the draws as we go along here with the Sims. So definitely check us out on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and you can get notified anytime that a new episode gets posted up. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in Umag in Croatia, the 2024 Plava Laguna Croatia Open. Andre Rublev is the number 1 seed here, and as we look at the top half, we can see the other seeds here. Tomas Mahac, Francisco Cerundolo, who also gets the bye as the number 4 seed, and Matteo Arnaldi. We do have another week with pretty weak player fields here as the Olympics are going to get started next Saturday, I believe. So we pretty much get the leftovers from the Olympics. We're looking at the bottom half of Umag. We've got a lot of the clay court specialists are here in the bottom half. Luciano Dardari, Mariano Navone is the number 6 seed. Lorenzo Musetti, of course, had that run in Wimbledon to the semis. He's the number 2 seed. Fabio Fognini's in this one again. The 2023 winner, Alexei Popyrin, is here in the bottom half. So loaded bottom half. Andre Rublev seems to have a pretty nice path here on the top half. Cerundolo maybe his biggest competition. They wouldn't meet until the semis, though. So we'll have to see if Rublev can get his shit together and go on a little bit of a run here in the Umag Croatia Open. Let's go ahead and look at our first results here from the top half. Of course, we're going to move on Rublev with that bye to the second round. He'll meet in the second round Luka Mikrut, who is the Croatian wild card. He gets by Camilo Ugo Carabelli, 6-1, 7-6. So you've got to assume if this happens, Andrei Rublev probably would be like a minus 5,000 favorite, I would assume, here in the second round. Moving on, Fabian Maroshan in 2 sets takes out Alexander Shevchenko 7-5, 6-3. Tomas Machac, the number 7 seed, 6-3, 6-3 over Thiago Monteiro. Francisco Cerundolo, of course, the number 4 seed, will get through with the bye. Will also move Matej Dodig on to the second round as he drew a qualifier. So it will be Cerundolo and Dodig in round number 2. Lorenzo Sonego wins 7-5, 6-1 over Mili Pulisic. Another wild card, I believe, another Croatian. You're going to hear a lot of names that you may have never heard before. I hadn't heard of them before either. It was a lot of work going through and pulling all of the mainly challenger level data for a lot of these players to get them into the simulations. Sonego straight sets win over Pulisic. Sonego will take on Alexandra Muller, who beats Matteo Arnoldi 6-4, 6-1. So that'll be the number 8 seed that drops out here. It'll be Sonego and Muller in round number 2. Let's go to the bottom half. Luciano Darderi, the number 5 seed, is going to get by Duje Ejkovic 6-3, 3-6, 6-4. Darderi will take on Alexei Popyrin, the 2023 winner, who beats Jacob Mensik in 3 sets. Fabio Fognini in straight sets gets by Luca Van Assche. He'll take on the number 3 seed, Holger Rune, who gets the bye and moves straight into round number 2. Number 6 seed, Mariano Navone. He takes out Flavio Caboli in straight sets. Navone will take on Dusan Lajovic, who we're just going to move to the second round as he takes on a qualifier in round 1. We do have a qualifier versus qualifier matchup here at the bottom of the draw, and the qualifier that will move on there takes on Lorenzo Musetti, the number 2 seed, who gets an actual bye in the first round, and then we're going to put him into the third round as he'll take on a qualifier there in the bottom of the main draw. So let's go back up to the top half. Of course, we said Rublev, number 1 seed against Mikrut. Rublev would be a massive favorite here, and he does win in straight sets. So Rublev, the number 1 seed, will take on the number 7 seed, Tomas Machac, in the third round. Machac takes out Maroshan 6-1, 6-3. Francisco Cerundolo, the number 4 seed, takes out Matej Dodig in 3 sets. Cerundolo in the third round will take on Alexandra Muller, who takes out Lorenzo Sonego 6-4, 6-3. Back to the bottom half. Luciano Darderi against the 2023 champion here in Croatia, Alexei Popyrin. Darderi wins it in 3 sets. So the number 5 seed Darderi will take on the number 3 seed Holger Rune, who wins in straight sets over Fabio Fognini. And in the final quarter, it's Mariano Navone, the number 6 seed, who wins in straight sets over Dusan Lajovic. Navone will take on the number 2 seed Lorenzo Musetti, who of course had that qualifier in round number 2. Back to the top half, Andrei Rublev, number 1 seed, takes on Tomas Machac, the number 7 seed, and it goes the way of Andrei Rublev in straight sets. And Rublev will take on Francisco Cerundolo in the semis. Cerundolo wins 6-1, 6-4 over Alexandra Muller. And back to this stacked bottom half. Holger Rune, the number 3 seed, against Luciano Darderi, the number 5 seed. It goes the way of Darderi. 6-3, 3-6, 6-0 in the third set to Darderi. So he'll move on to the semis, and he'll take on Lorenzo Musetti, the number 2 seed, who wins in 3 sets over Mariano Navone. So setting up our semis, they look like this. Pretty good semifinal here in Umag. Andrei Rublev against Francisco Cerundolo and Luciano Darderi against Lorenzo Musetti. Big-time semifinals here on clay. And let's see what the final will look like. It will be Francisco Cerundolo, who gets by Rublev in 3 sets. So it'll be the number 4 seed Cerundolo against the number 2 seed Lorenzo Musetti, who does take out Luciano Darderi 6-2, 2-6, 6-4. So the final will be the Argentine Francisco Cerundolo against the Italian Lorenzo Musetti. Musetti does lead the head-to-head here against Sarandolo 2-0, so let's see if Musetti can keep that run going and take out Sarandolo here to win in Umag. The first set goes the way of Francisco Sarandolo, 6-2. He takes out Musetti here in the first set, and set number 2 also is going to go to Francisco Sarandolo. He is your 2024 Plava Laguna Croatia Open champion here on the Sunday Sims. Francisco Sarandolo, this would be his first title since Eastbourne in 2023. It's his first title on clay since Lyon in 2023. So pretty good field here in Umag. Sarandolo gets it done. Congratulations. Let's move on to Atlanta, the 2024 Atlanta Open. This is my hometown tournament. This is the last year that they'll be holding the Atlanta Open here on the ATP Tour. A bit sad, and it's a bit sad to take a look at the player field here. Very, very weak field. I think I'll be attending this a couple days this week, so hopefully I can pull a couple interesting matches, but there's not much here to be had. The number 1 seed is Ben Shelton. Taking a look at this top half, Denis Shapovalov got a last-minute wild card into the main draw. He'll take on David Goffin. Not really much here. Riley Opelka is getting a wild card again. Of course, he made it to the semis in Newport. Looking at the bottom half, we've got, these are all mid-level players. Brandon Nakashima, Mackenzie McDonald, Yoshihito Nishioka, Aslan Karatsev, Francis Tiafoe. Not much juice here in this tournament, so hopefully we can get some decent matchups here in the later rounds. But let's just go up to the top half, get this thing started. We're going to move on both Ben Shelton and Andres Martin, who is the wild card, who takes on a qualifier in round 1. Shelton, of course, gets the bye, so they'll both move on and meet in round number 2. David Goffin in 3 sets beats Denis Shapovalov. Goffin will take on Christopher O'Connell, who takes out Max Purcell. Purcell was the number 8 seed, so O'Connell takes him out in 3 sets and will meet Goffin in round number 2. Jordan Thompson is the number 4 seed here in Atlanta. He gets a bye to round number 2. He'll take on Borna Koric, who wins 6-4, 6-4 over Thanasi Kokkinakis. Riley Opelka in 3 sets takes out Alexander Kovacevic. Opelka will take on Arthur Cazot, who in straight sets takes out the number 5 seed Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Down to the bottom half, the number 7 seed Brandon Nakashima in 3 sets wins over Mackenzie McDonald. Nakashima will take on Yoshihito Nishioka, who gets by against a qualifier. Aslan Karatsev, he also moves on as he drew a qualifier in round number 1. Karatsev will take on Francis Tiafoe, the number 3 seed, who had a bye in round number 1. Miramar Kecmanovic, the number 6 seed, takes out Lloyd Harris, the South African. Kecmanovic in 3 sets wins that one and will take on Constant Lestienne in round number 2. Lestienne takes out Arthur Rinderknech in straight sets here. And Alexander Vukic, who made it to the finals here in Atlanta in 2023, drew a qualifier in round number 1, so we'll move him on. He'll take on Adrian Manarino, the number 2 seed, who gets a bye to the second round. We'll go back up to the top. The number 1 seed, Ben Shelton, gets by the wild card Andres Martin, 6-1, 7-6. Ben Shelton in the quarters will take on Christopher O'Connell, who wins in straight sets over David Goffin. Jordan Thompson, the number 4 seed, takes out Borna Koric in straight sets, and Thompson will take on Riley Opelka, who wins 6-4, 6-4 over Arthur Cazot. Moving back to the bottom half, Brandon Nakashima, the number 7 seed, wins in 3 sets over Nishioka. Nakashima will take on Aslan Karatsev, who wins in 3 sets over Francis Tiafoe, the number 3 seed. Decent little upset there for Karatsev. Miramar Kecmanovic, 6-2, 6-2 win over Constant Lestienne. Kecmanovic will take on Alexander Vukic, who wins 7-6, 6-7, 7-6. 3 straight tiebreaker wins for Vukic over Adrian Manarino. That'll wrap up the quarterfinal matchups as Kecmanovic and Vukic will meet there at the bottom of the draw. Moving back to the top of the draw, number 1 seed Ben Shelton gets by Christopher O'Connell in straight sets, 6-4, 6-4. And this will set up a very interesting matchup between two big servers. Shelton will take on Riley Opelka, who wins 7-6, 7-6 over Jordan Thompson. And to the bottom half, Aslan Karatsev knocks off Brandon Nakashima, 6-2, 6-3. He will take on Alexander Vukic, who takes out Mirmar Kecmanovic, 6-3, 7-6. Karatsev and Vukic, who was the 2023 finalist here in Atlanta, will round out your semis. The semifinal matchups, Ben Shelton, the only seeded player to make it through. He is the top seed. He'll take on Riley Opelka, and in the bottom half, it's Aslan Karatsev against Alexander Vukic. Let's see how this plays out. We'll have a finals matchup of Ben Shelton versus Aslan Karatsev. Ben Shelton wins 6-4, 7-6 over Riley Opelka. Karatsev in 3 sets takes out Alexander Vukic. This will be Aslan Karatsev's first final appearance since Tokyo in 2023, where he met Ben Shelton on a hard court. So, rematch of the Tokyo final from October 2023. Shelton and Karatsev. Let's see who wins this first set. This first set goes the way of Karatsev, who takes it 6-3. This would be a pretty big upset, I think, if Karatsev. I would think the odds would be in Shelton's favor here. So let's see who takes the second set. It does go Shelton's way, 7-6, setting up a decider. Gotta think it goes Shelton's way. The odds would definitely favor Shelton, and he does get it done, 7-5. So Ben Shelton in 3 sets takes out Karatsev and is your 2024 Atlanta Open champion. We'll keep moving along here to Kitzbuhel in Austria, the 2024 Generali Open. Sebastian Baez is the top seed in this tournament. He's going to get a bye to the second round. We've got a Dominic Thiem appearance here. A lot of clay court specialists. Roberto Carbelas Baena is the number 7 seed. Pedro Martinez is the number 4 seed. Moving to the bottom half, Laszlo Djeri's here. Sebastian Offner, Alejandro Tabillo. Lots and lots of clay court specialists here. So this will be an interesting tournament. Not a ton of big names, but we could see some nice little matchups develop as the rounds go on. Let's look at our first result here from the top half. Sebastian Baez, the number 1 seed, gets by with a bye, and he'll take on Dominic Thiem. Thiem wins it in 3 sets over Thiago Agustin Tarante. Baez and Thiem met in the 2023 final here, so this will be a rematch of that final, which Baez did win. Nice little round 2 matchup there. Moving on, Hugo Gaston, 7-5, 6-3 winner over Daniel Altmaier. Gaston will take on Martin Fucsovic, who beats Carbelas Baena 6-3, 7-5. Pedro Martinez gets the bye to round number 2 as the number 4 seed. He'll take on Sumit Nagal, who drew a qualifier in round number 1. So we'll just move Nagal on to meet Martinez. Facundo Diaz-Acosta wins in 3 sets over Federico Coria. Diaz-Acosta will take on the number 6 seed Nuno Borges, who is going to be playing here in a few hours in the final in Pastad against Rafa Nadal. So we'll see if he shows up here to Kitzbuhel, but he does draw a qualifier in round number 1. So we'll move him on to face Diaz-Acosta in round number 2. In the bottom half, Laszlo Djeri, the number 8 seed, has a qualifier. We'll move him on. He'll take on Thiago Thibos Wild, who wins 6-3, 6-2 over Joel Schwarzler, the wild card from Austria. Jaume Munar in 3 sets takes out Yannick Hanfmann. Munar will meet Thomas Martin Echeverry, the number 3 seed, who gets bye into round number 2. Sebastian Offner, the number 5 seed, takes out Lucas Neumeier, 6-4, 6-4. Offner will take on Nicolas Moreno de Boron, who gets a qualifier and moves into round number 2 to take on Offner. Matteo Berrettini, 6-3, 6-3 winner over Pavel Kotov. Berrettini's another one that's going to be playing here in just a few hours in a final I think he is in the Gstaad final. He'll take on Alejandro Tibio here, though, in Kitzbuhel in round number 2. Tibio gets the bye to round number 2 as the number 2 seed. Back to the top half we go. This Baez team matchup goes the way of Sebastian Baez in what looks like it would be a really interesting match. 6-7, 6-3, 6-3 for Baez. The number 1 seed moves on. He's going to meet Martin Fucsovics in round number 3. Fucsovics wins in straight sets over Hugo Gaston, 6-4, 7-6. Pedro Martinez is into the quarterfinals. The number 4 seed wins in straight sets over Sumit Nagal. Martinez will take on Nuno Borges, that number 6 seed, who wins in 3 sets over Diaz Acosta. Moving down to the bottom half. It is Thiago Sebold Wild knocking out the number 8 seed Laszlo Djere. Sebold Wild wins in 3 sets, and he'll take on Jaume Munar. Munar wins over the number 3 seed Tomas Martin Echeverry, 6-2, 3-6, 6-3. And the final quarter matchup will be Nicolas Moreno de Alboran, who wins in 3 sets over Sebastian Offner. He'll take on Matteo Berrettini, who wins in 3 sets over Alejandro Tibio, the number 2 seed, and that would be a really nice matchup to watch. Berrettini here wins it 6-7, 7-6, 6-4. To the top half of the quarterfinals we go. Sebastian Baez, the number 1 seed, wins in straight sets over Fucsovics and will take on Pedro Martinez. Martinez, the number 4 seed, wins in straight sets over Nuno Borges, 7-6, 6-3. And in the bottom half, 2 clay court specialists here between Sebold Wild and Jaume Munar, and it goes the way of Munar in 3 sets. Munar will take on Matteo Berrettini. Berrettini gets by Moreno de Alboran, 6-4, 6-3, setting up Jaume Munar and Matteo Berrettini as the bottom half semifinalists. And looking at the semifinal matchups here, we see in the top, it is Sebastian Baez, the number 1 seed, who will take on Pedro Martinez, another tournament here where we see just 1 seeded player make it to the semis, and it is the number 1 seed again. This time Sebastian Baez who makes it. So how do these matchups play out? Who are we going to have as our finalists? It's going to be Pedro Martinez, who upsets Sebastian Baez here, 2-6, 6-4, 6-2. Martinez will take on Jaume Munar, who knocks off Matteo Berrettini in a very surprising result, 6-3, 6-4. Munar, of course, not much of a server, but he does have solid return game and clearly came through with some breaks here against Berrettini to set up an all-Spanish final between Pedro Martinez and Jaume Munar. The first set here in our Sunday Sims final is going to go to Jaume Munar, who wins this 6-2 over Martinez. And we'll see here, set number 2 goes the way of Pedro Martinez, 6-1, setting up a decider between the 2 Spaniards. And it's going to go the way of Jaume Munar. He wins it 6-3 in the 3rd set, taking out Pedro Martinez. This would be Jaume Munar's first ever ATP title. He's never had one. Another very interesting aspect of this matchup is that it would be only the 2nd time in 9 meetings that Jaume Munar would beat Martinez. Martinez holds a 7-1 head-to-head over Munar. So surprising result here for sure, but Jaume Munar is your Sunday Sims 2024 Generali Open champion here in Kitzbuhel. And that will wrap up the ATP for the week. We'll move down to Prague. We've got some pretty brutal player fields here for the women. Lots and lots of qualifiers making it through lucky losers. We've got performance buys in order for both of these tournaments. So we will, let's see, Linda Noskova is the number 1 seed here in Prague, if that tells you anything about the strength of the player field. And looking at this top half, I really don't see anything interesting at all, to be quite honest. Lots of players will get through here against qualifiers. I think we've only got actually 3 matchups to look at. So going to the bottom half, The number 2 seed Katerina Siniakova, we have not seen her since Wimbledon, so that will be interesting. Again, just so many qualifiers coming out in this draw, so not a lot that we'll get to in the first round, but let's see what we can do here. Linda Noskova, of course, the number 1 seed, will get through against a qualifier. Eva Liss looks like she may get a performance bye. She lost in the semis earlier today. She may have to face a qualifier. Either way, we're going to put her through to round number 2 to take on Noskova, the number 1 seed. Tamara Korpach will get to round number 2 against a qualifier here, and she'll take on the number 7 seed Nadia Podoroska, who wins 6-2, 6-0 against Ella Seidel. Magda Linette, the number 4 seed, will move on as she faced a qualifier in round number 1. She will take on Susan Lamens, who had a nice little run this past week. Lamens takes out Rebecca Masarova in 3 sets. Jana Fett will move on to round number 2. She had a qualifier there in round 1, and we'll have her facing Victoria Tomova as the number 5 seed. Gets by the Czech wildcard Jamrichova. Jamrichova has not played a single main level WTA match. She's not played a single qualifying round. She's not played a challenger tournament. She's not played a challenger qualifying round. So I have absolutely zero data on her. We will just move Tomova on. I have to think the odds will be astronomical in Tomova's favor here. So let's look at the bottom half. Magdalena Frech, the number 6 seed, is going to get taken out here by Astra Sharma in straight sets. Sharma had a nice run this past week as well. Zeynep Sonmez takes out Salkova 1-6, 6-1, 6-3. So it'll be Sharma and Sonmez in round 2. Jessica Buzos-Manero in 3 sets takes out Elsa Jacquemot. And Buzos-Manero will take on Sarah Bejlik, who wins in 3 sets over the number 3 seed Anna-Helena Kalinina. That's a bit of an upset for sure. And we'll go to the bottom quarter. It's Anna Carolina Schmiedlova, another one that had a really nice run this week. She's the number 8 seed, and we'll move her on as she has a qualifier in round number 1. We'll put her against Palikova, another wild card here. Palikova had a qualifier in round 1. Sampson, another relative unknown wild card who draws a qualifier in round 1. We'll move her on to take on Katerina Siniakova, the number 2 seed in round 2. So, back to the top half, we've got a real who's who here in the player field in Prague. Linda Noskova, the number 1 seed, gets taken out by Eva Liss, 6-3, 6-3. Liss has had a nice little run here between the sim here and this past week. She had a run to the semis, so she makes it into the quarters here in Prague, where she'll take on the number 7 seed Nadia Podoroska, who wins in 3 sets over Tamara Korpach. We've got Magda Linette, the number 4 seed, taking out Susan Lamens in straight sets. And Linette in round number 3 will take on Victoria Tomova, the number 5 seed, who takes out Jana Fett in straight sets. So it'll be 4 versus 5 there in the second quarter of the draw. Moving to the bottom half, Zeynep Sonmez knocks off Astra Sharma in 3 sets. And it'll be Sonmez against Sarah Bejlik, who wins in straight sets over Jessica Buzos-Manero. And the final quarterfinal matchup will be the number 8 seed Anna Carolina Schmiedlova, who wins in straight sets over Palikova. Schmiedlova will take on Katerina Siniakova, the number 2 seed, who gets by Sampson. Sampson is another player that has never played a single WTA match, so I have zero data on this Sampson, so we're just going to move Siniakova on to the quarters here, where she'll meet Schmiedlova. Back to the top, let's see if Eva Liss can continue her run, and she does. 3 sets it takes her, but she knocks off Podoroska, and in the semis, she'll take on the number 4 seed Magda Linette. Linette wins in straight sets over the number 5 seed Victoria Tomova here, 7-5, 6-1. And to the bottom half, It is Sarah Bejlik who gets by in 3 sets over Zeynep Sonmez. Sarah Bejlik is into the semifinals here, where she'll take on the number 8 seed, Anna Carolina Schmiedlova. Schmiedlova, in a pretty big upset here, takes out Sinyakova 6-1, 3-6, 6-4 to make the semis here. Looking at the semifinal matchups, we have Eva Liss. She'll take on the number 4 seed, Magda Linette. In the top half, and in the bottom half, it will be Sarah Bejlik, who will take on the number 8 seed, Anna Carolina Schmiedlova. And looking at the final matchup, it will be between, it is the seeded players that both get through. Number 4, Magda Linette, in 3 sets defeats Eva Liss, and number 8, Anna Carolina Schmiedlova, takes out Sarah Bejlik in 3 sets. So it's Linette against Anna Carolina Schmiedlova in the final here. Schmiedlova leads the head-to-head against Linette 2-0. Let's see if she can keep it up here. First set goes the way of Schmiedlova, 6-3. And the second set goes to Schmiedlova, 6-3. So it is Anna Carolina Schmiedlova in straight sets, taking out Magda Linette to win the Sunday Sims Live Sport Prague Open 2024. Congratulations to Schmiedlova, who last won a WTA title in Bogota back in 2018, so it's been a while for Schmiedlova. That'll take us to our last tournament of the week. It is the 2024 UniCredit Iasi Open in Romania. Anna Bogdan won this tournament last year. She defeated Irina Camelia Begu. This was a WTA 125 Challenger event last year, so they have bumped this up. It is now a 250. Mira Andreeva, the number 1 seed, highlights what is otherwise, again, a pretty weak field. You look at Andreeva as the number 1 seed, goes all the way down to the number 2 seed of Tatjana Maria. So not much here. Again, strength-wise in the player field. We look at the matchups and really not seeing much. There's a whole bunch of qualifiers. Again, we've got performance bye set up for Begu and Sasnovich. Looking at the bottom half, I really don't see much at all. We did see a couple interesting matchups as the rounds went on in Prague. Hopefully we'll get the same thing here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results in the top half. Mira Andreeva, the number 1 seed, 6-1, 6-3, no problem at all, getting by Noha Akugwe. She'll take on Alexandra Sasnovich, who is in the finals in Budapest in just a few hours. So looks like she may get a performance bye here to the second round. So it'll be Andreeva Sasnovich in round 2. Maria Timofeeva draws a qualifier in round 1. We'll move her on. She'll take on Martina Trevisan, who is the number 6 seed and also drew a qualifier in round 1. So Timofeeva Trevisan in round 2 is the matchup. Olga Danilovic, 6-4, 6-4. She knocks out the number 4 seed Anna Blinkova. Danilovic will take on Anka Todoni, who had a nice run this past week. Todoni had a qualifier there in round 1. Irina Bara in straight sets over Bassos Ribera. Bara will take on Anna Bondor, the number 8 seed who drew a qualifier in round number 1. To the bottom half we go. Alina Evanesian, the number 5 seed, takes out Romero Gormaz. 6-4, 7-6. Evanesian will take on Nuria Parisas Diaz, who wins in 3 sets over Petra Martic. Elena Gabriela Rus, 7-5, 6-0 winner over Tikhonova. Rus will take on Jacqueline Christian, the number 3 seed who drew a qualifier in round number 1. We'll move her right on. Chloe Paquette takes out the number 7 seed, Maria Karl. 3-6, 6-4, 7-6. Paquette will take on Ekaterina Makarova, who drew a qualifier in round number 1. And the final couple matches of the first round will be Irina Begu. We're going to move her on. She may get a qualifier. She may get a performance bye. Not sure yet. But Begu here will take on Miriam Belgeru, who wins 6-4, 6-4 over the number 2 seed Tatjana Maria. So a bit of a disaster there for Maria. Back to the top half. The number 1 seed is on to the quarterfinals. 7-5, 6-2. Mira Andreeva takes out Sasnovich. Andreeva will take on Maria Timofeeva, who wins in 3 sets over Trevisan. So the number 6 seed is out there. It's Andreeva against Timofeeva in the quarters. Anka Tedoni wins in 3 sets over Olga Danilovic. Tedoni will take on the number 8 seed Anna Bondor, who wins in straight sets over Irina Bara. To the bottom we go, and it is Nuria Parisas Diaz in 3 sets, taking out the number 5 seed Alina Evenesyan. That's a pretty good sized upset there. Parisas Diaz will take on the number 3 seed Jacqueline Christian in the quarterfinals. Christian wins in straight sets over Elena Gabriela Rus. And finally, we've got Chloe Paquette winning in 3 sets over Makarova. Paquette, in the final matchup of the quarterfinals, will take on Irina Camila Begu, who wins 6-4, 6-3 over Bulgaru. And back to the top half for the start of the quarterfinals. It is Mira Andreeva, the number 1 seed, taking out Maria Timofeeva, 7-5, 7-6. Andreeva is into the semis, where she'll take on the number 8 seed Anna Bondor. Bondor wins in 3 sets over Anka Tedoni. Shifting to the bottom half, Jacqueline Christian, the number 3 seed, is into the semifinals. She wins in 3 sets over Nuria Parisas Diaz. Christian will take on Begu. Irina Camelia Begu wins 6-4, 6-3 over Chloe Paquette. So looking at the semis here, we've got the number 1 seed Mira Andreeva through against the number 8 seed Anna Bondor. And we've got the number 3 seed Jacqueline Christian taking on Irina Camelia Begu there in the bottom half. See how it shakes out. Our finals matchup here in Iasi will be Anna Bondor, the number 8 seed, knocks off number 1 Mira Andreeva, 7-5, 2-6, 6-3. Bondor will take on the number 3 seed Jacqueline Christian here. Christian takes out Begu, 2-6, 6-4, 7-6. So Bondar, the Hungarian number 8 seed, against the Romanian Jacqueline Christian in front of her hometown crowd as the number 3 seed here. So Bondor does lead the head-to-head 2-1 over Christian. I would think she may be a slight favorite even here against the number 3 seed, honestly. But let's see how it plays out. The first set goes the way of Jacqueline Christian. Christian wins at 6-4 here in set number 1. Can she get it done on home soil? She does not. Anna Bondar forces a decider, winning 6-1 in set number 2. And the 2024 Unicredit Iasi Open Sunday Sims champion is Anna Bondar. She wins the third set 6-4, setting up a 4-6, 6-1, 6-4 final for the Hungarian. Congratulations to Bondar, the Sunday Sims champion here in Romania. TheTennisTips.com. That's where you can find all of my tennis betting, player prop, and DFS advice in one spot. The Dub Club platform we're on makes it easy to get notified every time I post new tips. I leverage all of the same data and statistical modeling used for the Sunday Sims into making informed tennis bets and player prop picks. With the VIP All Access package, you'll get weekly outrights and futures bets, my daily moneyline best bets, player prop cards for sites like Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and a daily DFS Core 4 for those of you that play on DraftKings. Start your free trial now, and then you can subscribe at thetennistips.com. Use promo code SundaySims for 20% off the VIP All Access package. Let's have some fun, win some money, and help support the Sunday Sims podcast at thetennistips.com. All right, that's going to do it for me. Episode 4 is a wrap. It was a rough couple of weeks. A lot of players kind of taking off, getting prepared for the Olympics. We will have both Olympic draws next week. The men and the women, I believe they start Saturday of next week, so it may be a Saturday Sims podcast next week. We'll just have to see how it goes. ATP and the WTA are both in Washington for 500 level tournaments on the hard courts next week. So Should be an interesting week. We'll definitely have some stronger player fields here in Paris and in Washington, which will definitely be more fun for all involved. So that's going to do it for me. Come back here next week for episode number 5. Please like, subscribe to the channel, leave comments with your feedback, anything that you think could help improve our experience together. I would love to take it into consideration and make this better for everyone. So that's a wrap. Thanks for listening to the Sunday Sims. We'll see you again next week.